And we're back again with some more real life riding, commuting. And a lot of people want to know what's it like to commute, you know, locally. So this channel pretty much, you know, shows you that. And you know, I'll go over the different challenges and obstacles and things you gotta expect. But most importantly, it's about enjoying the ride. See, when you're on a motorcycle, you're not so quick, or you're not worried about getting to your destination, you know, so fast, because you're having fun. You know, a lot of people ask, you know, when do you, you know, hey, when do you know, how often should you shift? Should you constantly shift? You know, there's 6 gears, you know, what gear should you be in, you know? The main thing you should know is knowing which gear handles what miles per hour range, you know, that you're in. So that's going to be important. So you figure out, you know, based on your bike, what gear you should be in based on, you know, the miles per hour that it can handle. So for example, you know, I know first gear, you know, can handle between like 1 and 15 miles an hour. Then you'll see it starts to rev out, meaning it starts to get louder and louder and louder, meaning that it's ready to switch into the next gear. So when you hear that, you know, it's you don't want it to keep going, you know, because if it does that, that means, you know, you're going fast enough to get into the next gear. Your next gear should be able to hold that. And then when it's up, that's how I know it's time to switch. So I would know what my miles per hour speed is, and then I'll factor in what my gear level should be for that particular speed. You see, we're only going about 30 miles an hour and I'm in 3rd gear. Now I can switch into 4th gear, but I'm not going fast enough to where 4th gear will switch into, you know, will switch, you know, smoothly. You know, I have to give it just a little bit more throttle to get, you know, more RPMs up so the bike could go faster. But as you can see now, I'm at 50 miles an hour and I'm in 4th gear. My RPMs is at 7. This bike really takes off when the RPMs get to like 9. Woo, it takes off after that. So I'm kind of, you know, just below that, you know, because I'm in traffic. I want to be able to stop, you know, have an emergency stop if I need to, slowly brake if I need to, you know, because when you're braking out here, there's a certain way on how you're supposed to brake, which is very smooth. You're not stabbing the brakes, you're not grabbing the front brakes, you're not stabbing the rear brake. You know, everything is nice and smooth. I don't upshift, downshift, downshift, upshift, upshift, downshift, you know, constantly shifting, you know, for every single miles per hour that I am. Like I said, know the range of what miles per hour that you're in, and then, you know, set your gear you know, for that particular miles per hour. Then I'll show you, like I'm in third gear and I'm slowing down with the brakes, but I'm in a range where I know third gear can handle, you know, 18 miles an hour. So, you know, I'm releasing the brakes now, still going. The bike is not choking up, so I'm coming to a stop and I pull in the clutch so the bike can coast. 1, 2, click down. I'm in first gear. The bike is coasting. I'm just releasing the clutch. A little bit of throttle until everybody comes, you know, to a stop. This is what we call slow speed maneuvering. Like I'm in second gear right now, 25 miles an hour, slowing down, still in second gear. Got my hand on the clutch, braking just a little bit. So I know second gear can handle this, so based on the speed that we're going, I'm staying in second. I don't want to increase the third, because if I increase the third, that means I got to give it more throttle and get more speed, and I don't want to do that, you know, in traffic, because the traffic can slow down at any time, so I don't want to burst the speed. Like here, you see that I have to slow down. So now I'm clicking into second. I'm in 10 miles per hour. And we're still going, so I'm coasting. I'm letting the bike coast. I'm revving the throttle, letting off the clutch just a little bit. Letting the bike go. A little bit of brake. We're about to come to a stop, so I'm clicking down to first totally. Now that I'm down into first gear, I'm still going slow, so first gear, give it some throttle. I pull in the clutch, now the bike is coasting. Now I'm pulling in the rear brake. And I'm coming to a stop with the clutch in. So in slow speed maneuvers, you know, especially when you're in traffic, you kind of don't want to use the front brake when you come into a stop. You know, you want to use the front brake to slow down when you're at a higher speed. But anything between, like, you know, 15 miles an hour and lower, yeah, this car just cut in front of me with no lights. You know, anything, you know, 15 miles an hour and lower, I usually just coast. Like I'm coasting right now, the bike is moving on its own with no power, and now I'm gonna slow down, hands off the front brake, rear brake only, foot down. Now I came to a stop. But you can click down, you can actually shift down consecutively, only on the downshift, meaning you can hold in the clutch and shift from 6th gear all the way down to 1st gear with the clutch held in. But you can't do that when you're upshifting. It doesn't work like that. Only on the downshift, so remember that. Here we have 50 miles an hour. For me in traffic, you know, I like to cover the brakes, you know, cover the front brake. So now I'm coming to a stop. I'm front braking at 40 miles an hour. I'm pulling in the clutch. Rear brake, I didn't even shift down yet. Now I'm gonna shift down. 1, 2, 3. Now I'm in 1st gear. So I hope that made a lot, you know, a lot of sense of what I just did. So as you saw, I used both brakes to slow me down, mostly with the front brake, keeping the bike straight. And I slowed down from 40 all the way to 0. And as soon as I got, you know, to the light, that's when I clicked all the way down into 1st gear. Ooh, the dude got off the line. Well, he was actually coming up behind me. I saw him, so he's on that 6. I know this guy. We tend to ride the same way. I can't remember if we go down to Oakland, but catch up to him. You know, you always give other motorcyclists, you know, some room. You know, especially if I know they have, and if they ride on like a 1000 or something like that, you know, I give them room because they're gonna have to brake a whole lot faster and harder, you know, based on their speed. So I'm aware of this. You need to be aware of that too as a rider. And just know, when you engine brake on a motorcycle, your brake lights don't come on. So if somebody's engine braking, you know, you won't be able to tell. He's gonna lane split, get in front of the traffic. I don't want to do that because I'm just taking my time, but yeah, so only when you hit the brakes, the front brake or the rear brake, that's the only way that your brake lights come on. So that's the dangerous thing about riding a motorcycle. To keep that in mind is that when you engine brake, meaning when you let off the throttle, that's engine braking. That means you're not providing no gas to the vehicle, and the bike starts to slow down at a steady pace, you know, on its own. But unfortunately, when you do that, your brake lights don't come on. So that's the only flaws about motorcycle riding. So when you're engine braking, always either tap, you know, the rear brake or the front brake to let people know that you're slowing down, if you decide, you know, engine braking is your thing. And the engine braking is actually pretty nice. Engine braking on this bike is actually much better than the Ninja that I had. It slows the bike down a lot. As soon as I release the throttle, man, this thing, like, it just starts to slow down, which is a good thing. So we're going about, you know, 50 miles. So we're coming up again. I'm braking right now. I'm still in 4th gear, as you can see. I'm in 4th gear, 30, 20. I'm pulling in the clutch now. 15, 1, 2, 3. And that's how I shift downwards. So I don't constantly shift down when I'm going down to 20 and 10 and blah 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 blah, because, you know, sometimes, you know, if your RPMs is not literally the same as your, you know, wheel speed, you know, it can cause a jerk on your bike. So I kind of learned that the hard way. Also, there's another technique called rev matching. We'll get into that for another video. Rev matching, I actually learned that. It was hard at first, but once you master it, rev matching for me is really good when I'm in 6th gear totally, and I'm just zipping. And if I'm at 6th gear, like if I'm on the highway and I have to slow down, you know, for any reason, if I'm going around a, you know, curve, or just cars just start slowing down, and normally I'll rev match to get, you know, my RPM speed the same as my road speed or wheel speed. That's a whole nother concept. I don't think anybody should worry about that as a beginner. I didn't start worrying about that until, you know, probably like 2 years, you know, me riding. So I don't think you should worry about that either. Well, you see now I'm in 4th gear and I'm going 60 miles an hour. You know, I'm looking at the lights. Is that too? So I know I can be able to get past the green light. So you see I'm still in 4th gear at 60 miles an hour. So this bike can handle, you know, this bike can handle a lot. You know, I love this bike. You know, it's fast, but it's not overkill, you know, for, you know, the regular streets like this. Like, I'm slowing down literally from 60 and I'm already at, you know, 30. You know, awesome. You know, 600, you know, 1,000, you know, I may not be able to do that. I have to actually time, you know, to do that. And it's unfortunate because when you're riding, a lot of times, you know, you just want to ride without have to overthinking everything. And that's the thing that I learned when I test rode the Yamaha R3. You know, not only is it a super sport, like my back is hunched over a little bit, but with the R3, it was like I was laying down, you know, on the bike. And I was like, you know, nah, I won't be able to commute like this. But what I see a lot of guys when they ride their bike when they're supposed to be hunched over. It's so uncomfortable. They ride it with their arms, you know, straight up like this. You're not supposed to be straight up like this. Your arms are supposed to be, you know, bent, you know, and kind of in. I don't see a lot of videos, you know, with this type of riding because, you know, maybe it may be boring to some. You know, people want to see people risk their lives, you know, on their bikes by doing wheelies and, you know, doing all that other stuff. You know, more power to them. But like I said, this channel is more about real life riding and what you're going to actually expect, you know, on the road. It's not going to be 100% safe. Shoot, it's not even going to be 70% safe. I'm gonna tell you right now, you're probably only, once you start thinking like how I think 50-50. 50-50 reckless, 50-50 safe. Like I'm anticipating this white car, he looks like he wants to jet out in front of me. He sees me, so I go out to the right, just, you know, to his side so he can see me in the mirror. I saw him and he looked like he wanted to, you know, jet up. Things like that you gotta anticipate. You gotta anticipate what these cars are doing in front of you and behind you. You gotta anticipate if the car is in front of you, if they're impatient, if they're just gonna jet out in traffic. You know, are they gonna cut you off? You know, you gotta kind of anticipate these things. Look at the gaps that are in between you, the car in front of you, and then the cars in front of them. And then look at the cars, you know, in front of those cars and see what they're doing. So it's like you're scanning ahead. Alright, I'm in 4th gear. I'm coasting. I click down to 3rd because I'm at 15 miles an hour. So I'm revving the bike, getting the bike up, but I'm not 100% released the clutch. Now I did. Because I'm a little bit more of a power band. So I'm in 25 miles per hour. I'm still in 3rd gear because we're going a bit slow. So 3rd gear, I like this. I'm braking, we're slowing down, still in 3rd gear. I actually got to get over it, so wait for this truck to get by me. So everybody's going slow. My hand is covering, as you can see, the brakes and my clutch because we can stop at any time. So I want to be prepared. So if you have a question, oh, do you cover your clutch and your brakes in traffic? Yes, I do. If there's traffic like this, yes, I do, because I always want to be prepared. Don't ever be afraid to say that, or somebody thinks that you're not a professional because you don't do that. Like I said, reaction time is the quickest reaction time. So if you know you're going to be coming to a stop, you got to make a turn or whatever the case is, like you want to kind of already be on it, you know, before it actually happens. So I'm in 3rd gear and the clutch is in. Click it down to 2nd, click it down to 1st, and now the bike is just coasting. I'm releasing the clutch just a little bit, give it some power on the rear brakes. About to stop. Boom. So normally I'm supposed to get in the right lane because I'm almost home, but that big old bus right there, and there's more bus stops, so I'm gonna stay in the middle. I'm in 1st gear right now, and I'm just coasting. 20 miles an hour. Kicked in the 2nd gear, and when I kicked in, we're still moving slow, so I didn't rev the throttle. Because if I would have pulled back on the throttle, I would have increased my speed. You know, we're still going slow, and I didn't want to do that. So I kicked into second gear, but I held in the clutch and then released the throttle until I was ready to give the bike some gas, you know, to get going. So I'm in fourth gear right now. We're about to turn signals on, and clutch in, slow down, third gear, brakes, making a turn. Going through my side over here. Go in the middle, sometimes that gate come down. You know, don't be afraid to, you know, do this to your bike. Come in, oh man, it's beautiful. Oh, hold the clutch, you know, turn around, woo! Yeah. Believe it or not, guys, those little turns like that, like this on the bike, man, the thing is so much fun. You're not going that fast, but it's just the feeling that you get, man. It's just so much fun. Oh, man. All right, making it home. Watch out for people who may be pulling out. Left, right. You can't see it, but I'm turning my head left and right, so. Whew. Yeah. Do you have any questions or concerns about shifting in traffic? And you know, I'll make sure I'll do another dedicated video very soon. It could be the next one about, you know, shifting in traffic and, you know, the things that I do. And I'll try to show you a little bit more of my hands, you know, what they're doing, you know, too, as well. So thank you very much. This is the Keep Living channel. Keep living Motovlog, you know, to keep living motivation in life. And I am the KL Rider, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.